Bob Zimmerman, the engineering director for the City of Moorhead. I've been with the City of Moorhead for 35 years, 22 of those as the director of the department. So over that period of time, I've seen a lot of flood events. I've actually been working for the city in one capacity or another for 8 of the top 10 flood events. And I think 1997 was sort of a game changer in recognizing that there are bigger flood events than we have prepared for in the past, and we should do some more. There was, I think, generally a belief at that point that like 40 feet is unachievable. And if we ever see 40 feet, it's like turn the lights out and head east because everything's going to be wet. So there was at least a perception that we couldn't get to that level until 2009, when we actually did get to that level. And that was really the spark that led to a very, very coordinated effort between the two cities, the counties, the watershed and water resource districts to really find a long-term solution that didn't involve a lot of temporary measures that we had done many, many times in the past. 2009 was really a game changer in that properties off of the riverfront were threatened because the river stage was going to be as high as it was. So this really changed the perception in terms of what the flood threat was. When we saw that 40-foot flood, we actually had projections of much more than a 40-foot flood. That the 2009 flood event was just, to look back on that is sort of incredible what was accomplished in such a short amount of time. If anyone's ever seen the television program MASH and how those doctors and surgeons dealt with the situation they were and just reacting to what was going on and sort of, we're going to put you back together, but it might not be perfect. I mean, that's the kind of engineering we were doing at that time. I draw that similarity because we literally got up every day, looked at the forecast, and it was different, and we had to adjust, and we had to do it on the fly, and then we had to somehow get that information out to the people in the field that were putting sandbags in place. And, at that time, we didn't have sandbags made in advance, so there was a lot of things happening. It was semi-organized chaos is probably a good description for it. Literally the day after the crest of the 2009 flood, we started planning flood mitigation improvements, looking at areas of the city that were vulnerable and identifying what we could do in those areas to provide long-term protection. The diversion project is very robust. It's the diversion and it's the upstream storage, but it also includes all of the protection that both cities have done in town. And it's really integral to being able to operate the diversion. And as the project went through permitting and all of those issues and identifying, what's sort of the sweet spot for how much water can be allowed through town, how much has to be stored upstream, we arrived at that 37-foot flood for the 100-year as being a manageable flood with the improvements that both cities have made. Without those improvements, it would definitely be a challenge. So all of that work is very much a part of the operation of the diversion project, and it being able to operate, being able to be permitted by the states. It is essential to that, and the city is definitely a partner in that. We have to maintain and operate those improvements to see the full benefit of what the diversion project can do. And now we have a lot of community members that weren't here and don't even know what that was like and what that threat was like. And, thankfully with this project, they're not going to know what that was like.